to Sunday Evening In with the Housewives.
This is what happens when you break quarantine. Murder hornets.
Oh my God. I saw that either yesterday or the day before when it first started coming out on Facebook, and I was like, 2020 just can't get any more insane.
There, even like a month ago, there was like rumblings about the super volcano under Yellowstone, going off. And I'm like, bring it on.
There actually is a really, really fun series. Look, we're already diverging. Written by a guy named James Rollins, who actually is a veterinarian. So it kind of cracks me up that he writes these really intricate kind of thriller novels, but it's about a group called the Sigma Force. He writes really interesting tech, and some of it is like not quite realized yet, but tech that's on the horizon. And this group is basically like, I don't know how to explain it. They're not military, but they're kind of like a Delta Force sort of thing. Very interesting characters, really fun read. Highly recommend them. One of them is about the super volcano under Yellowstone.
Oh, that's
I want to say it was subterranean, but I can't remember because it's been a long time since I read the first few in the series.
I'm just surprised that you can pull an author's name out of thin air.
You know that I'm a crazy reader. That's why.
Yeah,
so, in fact, I would say if anybody listening to me is interested in starting the James Rollins series, the first one that I read was Map of Bones, and it was so good. It was just absolutely gripping. Yeah, and there's actually one about murder hornets, too.
Seriously?
James Rollins predicted 2020. I can't remember which one is the murder hornets one. Now I have to get on Amazon and look.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was actually a relatively recent one, too.
We're kind of off topic, but still kind of on topic. The reason we are podcasting this weekend is because Jeffrey Dean Morgan started his own quarantine podcast.
No, it's a show.
Something like that.
And I've got to say, I feel a little bit off that we're not podcasting, and we don't even know. I mean, podcasting Walking Dead, and there's just no news. Yeah.
I mean, there's some speculation about maybe an October release for the real season finale, episode 16.
But it sounds like it's still not finished. I was just looking at some interviews with JDM before I got online.
Right. And that it actually may even become its own little mini movie.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Which that'll be cool. That'll be worth the
satisfying.
Yeah.
And it was directed by Greg Nicotero, so it's probably going to be really good.
I'm trying not to overhype it in my head, because then like it's just going to automatically be a letdown because it'll never be as good as it is in my head. But the thing that I was reading was that two things. I guess we're in Whisperers
already. But before we go off on that, I just want to say to everybody really quickly, the book about murder hornets is called Demon Crown. And it's book 13 in thus far a 15-book series. And I just realized that there are 2 new books I haven't read. Yay!
I wonder if that's what they call the queen bee for murder hornets, is the what is it called?
Demon Crown.
Demon Crown. Yeah, that's the queen bee.
Anyway, back to...
I was reading that they actually should be filming right now. They should be filming season 11.
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan basically said, we have no idea when we're going to start filming.
Yeah, I mean, it's filmed from April to November. So are they going to abbreviate next year? I mean, if they do get to film anything, are they going to have to abbreviate next season and have less episodes?
No.
Or,
although I have to say, when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, I hope that this isn't the excuse that AMC needs to just let The Walking Dead fade gently into that good night.
Yeah, I don't think that they will, but I can't say what's going to happen from day to day. So The other thing that I was reading was the coronavirus crisis is also affecting the release of the Walking Dead movie in theaters.
Oh, okay. So is the Walking Dead movie already
Yeah.
done?
I didn't hear about that. It would surprise me if it is. But all the theaters are shut down, and even when they open back up, they are probably going to implement some sort of social distancing. So, like maybe a person every third seat and stagger it. So it's you're going to have way less at the box office. So who wants to release their movie in that time? A lot of movies have had some success going to immediately to video on demand, but I don't doesn't sound like they want to do that with The Walking Dead. So it may be quite some time before we actually see the Walking Dead Rick movie.
I have mixed feelings about that. I would be okay with them delaying to um, a theater release. I'd be all right with that.
I would too. I mean, a lot bigger sacrifices have been made in light of the pandemic. So everyone just sort of has to check their expectations on things, I guess. But, I don't think The Walking Dead is really going anywhere. It is a very successful franchise that, has now 2 spin-off series and movies and everything. So, I mean, it's not like they're going to just drop the whole thing. We will eventually open back up and things will start to run again. So it's just going to be slow getting there.
I don't have an idea of what our new normal is going to be like. I don't have a sense of that at all moving forward.
Gosh, where was I? I was just someplace recently where it was like, I think it was a restaurant or something. I wasn't eating at the restaurant, although Alaska is one of the states that has opened up to some businesses again. So
and I have to say,
like barbershops.
Total housewife, total white girl privilege, total middle class privilege. I did get my hair done yesterday, and I was so glad.
Well, and so barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, things like that. You're encouraged to wear masks, and some private businesses have made it mandatory.
Yeah, the salon
that their
that
customers
I go to made it mandatory, which is fine.
And
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely. But the place where I was, I was going in to get something, like a to-go order or something, and I mean, it was maybe a third of the tables. I mean, it seemed so barren when most places cram as many tables and chairs in there as possible, and it's going to be a very different scene in the future. So. I mean, look at the TV that we have now. We have people doing Zoom meetings, and it's a television show.
I think the public's appetite for that is going to fade pretty fast. I think we're all pretty sick of Zoom and FaceTime. I actually, we're totally all over the map, which I kind of figured we would be. I was listening to a Buddhist podcast about connection during the pandemic, and it was really interesting. The guy who teaches this particular podcast, he's also a counselor as well as a Buddhist teacher, and he said that the areas of our brains that are stimulated by talking on the phone versus having FaceTime are really different. And so he encouraged, for example, for counselors and for healthcare providers to do any online or remote stuff that they have to do with patients via FaceTime, because the connection, the emotional connection and the cognitive connection is better than just talking over the phone.
So I actually had 2 doctor's appointments on Friday. It was a follow-up for my blood work with my regular doctor, and then I had a therapy appointment on Friday, and both of them were on it wasn't Zoom. It's kind of like Teledoc, but it wasn't Teledoc. It was a secured, HIPAA compliant portal for, video chatting with your provider. And I have to say it was better than just like I had a therapy appointment over the phone, which is fine, but in the long term, I don't think it's going to take the place of, face to face, even if it's video. But
I don't know. I think it's
yeah,
going to, I've said
so
this before and I've probably said it on Biters. I think it's going to shift the way we do healthcare in this country.
it's going to shift the way we do a lot of things, and healthcare is definitely one of them. The interesting thing is I've seen this with my coworkers because we do video chat meetings now, instead of just over the phone. And as far as like watching Friday Night with the Morgans and watching the follow up to the Tiger King and watching the Talking Dead and just my coworkers, it's an interesting little peek into everybody's world, their private lives. It's just, you just get to see whatever is in the background of them, but it's a little more intimate. It's funny. Yeah, I have a tendency to focus on everything that's behind the people, which Kristen Serrato was really difficult because she's in a temporary apartment, so there was just a blank wall behind her.
I found her to be the least engaging of all of the guests, quite honestly.
So I kind of feel sorry for the guest that is not part of the friendship inner circle Hollywood scene, because they seem to be kind of the odd man out so far.
Okay, so now we're totally like we're totally off again. So I'm gonna bring us back, because what are we here for? We're actually here to discuss Friday Night In with the Morgans. Right. Have you watched episode 3? Okay,
no,
so we're only up to episode 2. I've watched 3, and spoiler alert, I have to say that I have gotten more engaged, and I'll probably go ahead and watch the next one.
2 was an improvement over 3. 2 was an improvement over 1.
Before we get into Friday Night with the Morgans, because that's why we're here, I just want to say a couple more things about Whisperer's Corner. So it's confirmed that Maggie is going to be in episode 16. Ooh. And I found this out today and I was so excited. So AMC started another interview show. And the first episode premiered today, and I didn't know it until I was looking at the news for Walking Dead.
Okay, why do they not advertise it on Friday nights?
I don't know, but it's the Bottomless Brunch with Coleman Domingo.
Oh, I'm kidding. Serious.
And the first episode is available for viewing on AMC, so I'm going to go back and watch it. And his guest was Mo Collins, Sarah.
Oh,
yeah.
That is going to have to be a definite must-watch.
I completely agree. So before we got into Friday Night with the Morgans, I just wanted to say that because I was really excited. I think Coleman Domingo is very engaging and very funny. Definitely
I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything on that.
Yeah, I literally just ran across it when I was doing some reading about Friday Night In with the Morgans. And I clicked on the link, and sure enough, it's available for viewing on AMC, and the first episode premiered today.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right, so going way, way back to how we kind of sort of do this, do you have an overall rating so far for Friday Night In?
Like I said, episode 2 is a definite improvement over episode 1. Now, I'm giving it a very low rating, but bear in mind, I probably will watch. It's a 30-minute show, and I love the characters and everything. My only issue with it was just that there wasn't a whole lot that was that interesting. They seem to have not taken form yet. So I gave it a 3.0 Jack and Dianne.
I love Jack and Dianne.
I would watch a 30-minute show with just Jack and Dianne. I totally
would too. So I would give it a 3.79 because I actually really liked it quite a bit better after watching the third episode. 3.79 out of 5 Victory Gardens.
Ah, yes. The Victory Garden. I actually have written that down.
So I kind of looked around to see if I could find any ratings for it, and the only thing I could find was that it has a 100% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, but then it doesn't say how many people responded, so it could be one person.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
so all right, now we can talk freely about the episode. I just kind of, or about the what we've watched so far. I just kind of wanted to bring us back a little bit, rein us in.
Okay, so are we gonna do episode 1 and then episode 2, or are we just gonna
No, we're
mash
just
them
gonna
both
kind of
together?
mash them both together. And I didn't really do
Okay,
goods, bads, or uglies. I didn't do it that way.
me
Okay,
either.
I just figured we
No.
could talk about some of the things that we really liked.
So one of the things that I absolutely love, and I discussed this with you, I think during the Talking Dead, and it was just reiterated with Friday Night with the Morgans, is doing podcasting and not being with the person you are talking with, or video casting or anything like that, is not as easy as it looks, is it? No, it's not. Because you have 4 people that are all going to talk over each other. People are going to have technical difficulties. There's going to be stuff going on in the background. There's just phones are going to ring. I absolutely loved it when the school was calling right at the beginning of their episode, episode 2. That's just, I mean, that is a podcaster's life. And
It's usually a barking
I
dog in
love
this household, but yeah.
I mean, I love all of the little outtakes of the newscasters and comedians and everything that just have, you know, millions of dollars for a budget, studios and people that do stuff. And now they're having to kind of figure out their own camera and lighting and sound. And it's just hilarious to see all of them, all of these media moguls, like, struggle through everything that we have for the past 5-10 years.
I, you know, I didn't so much focus on that. It is funny. I mean, it's kind of funny, especially the quality of Talking Dead hasn't been. The content has been fine. The quality of the calls haven't been very good, and that kind of cracks me up. So I wonder what platform they're using. I'm assuming
Right.
they're using Skype, but I'm just assuming.
Yeah, I would assume Skype too. I know that Zoom has had its issues with calls getting hacked and things like that. So I can't imagine that they would be using anything unsecured.
I don't know. Interesting. I mean, AMC could certainly spring for whatever platform they want.
Yeah, that's true.
So far, who was your favorite guest?
I have to say that Michael
Oh,
Cutlass was probably my favorite. The bobblehead when they came back from what was a commercial break for me on Sling. And it's, instead of like him in the frame, it's his bobblehead, and that just cracked me up so much.
so I have to say he was probably mine too. I mean, I really enjoyed Coleman Domingo. I really loved seeing Sarah Wayne Callies. It was really nice to see her. But the moment where Cudlitz gets choked up when he's talking about the pandemic in LA and how
Oh
proud he
yeah.
is of how they've handled it, that was very cool for me. I really like that.
I know, like, big guys like that choking up, just like that brings tears to my eyes. I'm like, I can't handle
Oh
that.
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
giant softie.
Yeah.
So, who was your favorite civilian guest so far? Your non. I mean, I guess you only have 2. I have 3, and mine is actually the third one. So,
And mine is the second one, Ed Hackett. I kind of felt a little sorry for
the doc.
Dr. Yeah,
I
Dr.
didn't
Kemp.
write down anybody's
Um,
names, so I'm so glad that you
uh,
did.
I want to say it's pronounced Shareem, Dr. Shareem Kemp, Sharagim. Because it was the first episode, and like they didn't really, like, I don't think they still have a format, and so it was just her telling her little bit and then pretty much being silent throughout, and yeah, I feel really sorry for the civilian on the episode.
Yeah, you were saying that
but
you felt sorry for the person who didn't have all the Hollywood inside. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Although I will have to say they engaged more with the guest who was kind of the civilian guest on the third episode. I wish I had
Good.
written his name down. He's actually the man who owns the farm supply store that JDM and Hillary Burton get all of their farm supplies from.
Oh, I thought that was Ed Hackett
Oh,
on
maybe it was
the
season
second
two,
season.
maybe, or episode two.
Or the
Maybe
episode two. Yeah.
they're all kind of blurring together. I watched all three of them last night, so
Yeah. So that was Ed
yeah, he
Hackett.
was
And
great.
he was the one I love Sarah Wayne Kelly
Commenting that she
asking
saw him
about
castrate a donkey.
yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
a donkey. Yeah.
Now,
But I love that she asked him about like what are the four like idiot proof things to grow in your garden, and he could only come up
he
with
forgot
two.
to say carrots.
I think potatoes and garlic, like anything you can just put in the dirt.
I think carrots are super easy. I've always gotten good carrot crops. Zucchini, I have
Root
struggled with zucchini up here. I know that our grandmother was like the zucchini queen.
So I think that it gets too
I think
wet
you're
up
right.
here for zucchini.
Because they always rot
Yeah.
on the vine when I try. Even when I tried
Yep.
when we had a greenhouse, they
Exactly.
yeah.
Either that or they really, really just aren't idiot proof.
Which is possible because I never claimed I was a good gardener.
And that's so funny. Like, there's on our community pages, there's so many people like, where can I get carrot seeds and things like that? And so many people are starting gardens. And I really have been wanting to start a garden on the side of our house for like 4 years. And I just never, I did a whole bunch of yard work this weekend and I am just beat. And I'm like, I don't know how anybody thinks that's relaxing.
So I haven't gardened since the first year that, well, I did a little messing around after that, but the first year that we were really in the house up here, because I said, I'm going to school, then it was a full-time job,
Yeah.
and we had all these animals, including the horses, and I was like, you can't garden and have all those animals at the same time. Well, now that our animal population has shrunk dramatically, I've kind of been thinking about gardening this year, too. Not because I'm a prepper, not because I'm crazy, but because I really do have a nice plot of land that is now fertilized with a lot of horse manure.
That's funny. I'm surprised you won't have a lot of like hay
we
growing up
probably
in
will. Yeah,
That's
we
funny.
probably will.
Yeah, Alaska's a really good place to grow stuff too because we get so much sun in the summertime that we just get those giant vegetables.
Yeah, I mean, the
So,
area where I live, the Matsu Valley, is well known for its farming and for its crops.
yeah. Oh,
So, what would you say some of your favorite things, just overall, about what they're doing with Friday Night In are?
I actually really, I haven't seen episode 3, but episode 2 seemed to have a lot more of clips with the Morgans around their farm, and I loved the outtakes at the end with JDM. I really enjoy the shenanigans that go on at his farm, so I would love to see more of that.
That's what I wrote down, actually. I was like, I want to see more of the farm.
Yeah. His donkeys are so tiny and so cute.
They're pretty cute.
I love that Haley called him king of the jackasses.
Yeah, they're super cute. Well, I would say that the things that I really have enjoyed, aside from the farm clips, and I loved Jack and Diane, they were really funny. I love this sense of community, and especially, I think the episode where they talked with Sarah Wayne Callies and with Mr. Hackett, you're right on, he was in episode 2. It felt like they talked a lot about what they were doing to kind of bring their communities together and support workers, and I really liked that. And I like hearing about Hillary Burton's mask making endeavors because, I've got my own crazy mask making thing going on.
Yeah, and I don't know why I didn't know that Michael Cutlass had a whiskey distillery.
I didn't
but
know
he
that
does.
either.
And I guess he's got there's a little bit of food service there, and he's been, still doing takeout and things like that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him start doing what a lot of the distilleries have done in at least in our area, if not nationwide, is make hand
Right.
sanitizer. Um, so yeah, I mean, just that's one of the other things that I really liked about it was that just the conversation about what we are all going through at this moment and how we're all doing what we can to stay connected and support our communities and the healthcare workers and trying to do what we can to stay healthy and stop the spread. So yeah, I would love to see Hillary's masks. I wonder how they compare to
Oh,
yours because
yeah.
yours are
Oh,
print.
thank you. It's because they're modeled after a true old-fashioned surgical mask. All credit to the RN who created the pattern. I can't claim any credit for it.
So every time I put them on, which I've discovered I have to wear my hair up when I put them on. Otherwise, I wind up tying a bunch of my hair into them because there's two ties. But I always feel like I'm like some Civil War battlefield
Oh,
surgeon,
that's
like
so
tying on
funny.
my mask.
I have not
Oh,
sewn
man.
yesterday or today because I've just been so tired and I got my hair crazy done yesterday, so that kind of took up most of my day. But
Yeah. Yeah.
well, oh, go ahead.
One of the things that I found interesting in, I think all of their guests have and and the Morgans have relatively small children at
Mm-hmm.
home,
They have a 10
which is not something you or I
they have a
experience.
10-year-old and I want to say a 1-year-old. The Morgans do.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. And then the Ackles, Jensen and Daniil Ackles have, I think it was a 6-year-old and twin 3-year-olds or
Oh my
something. But I'm
god.
just like, I could not because I have coworkers that have been homeschooling their children for the past few months, and even now when school is out and it's like, oh, the kids would be home anyway. No, they wouldn't. They'd be out with their friends. So uh, the Morgans having a farm, I think, is just amazing for their children because it's not like they have to find anything to do all day. There's always something to do on the
Mm-hmm.
farm.
Well, so we got cross
So
wires about who we were going to talk about as kind of the featured cast. So you go first. Because I don't know I will be honest, I don't
So
know anything about the person you're going to talk about other than I have watched a couple episodes of the series that he is famous for, and I just
is known
haven't been
for.
able to
Yep.
get into it, which I feel horrible saying that. Okay.
I know. And at this point, 15 years of Supernatural, aren't you just like, nope, it's too far. There's too much to
Yeah,
watch.
I mean, I've
I couldn't
tried
possibly,
and
even in
tried and tried, and
quarantine.
I've watched probably the first 5 episodes, and it's not that it's bad, I just can't get into it.
It may have been a different story in 2005 when the series started because 2005 was a completely different time. I look back at the series that I love, one of which that he was in, Dark Angel, and it's times change and things don't resonate like they would if you watched them at the time. So yeah, some of the newer episodes may resonate with us, but we don't have the 15-year
Right.
backstory. So we're talking about Jensen Ackles, who, of course, the I thought it was so funny that he introduced JDM and his wife. Actually, I think both the Ackles did. He and his wife. So that's how they are connected. And of course, JDM also had played Jensen's father on the
Right.
show Supernatural. So they kind of have that history going back. And I absolutely loved the diorama that they
Yes,
did.
that was funny.
That was hilarious. That should have been my rating. But so if you are a fan of soap operas, you may know Jensen from Days of Our
No way,
Lives.
really? Oh my god.
Really, he was Eric Brady.
That's too funny.
Yeah, yeah. Um, He was in Dawson's Creek, and he was in a very low budget kind of Sundance Film Festival-y movie called oh, where did it go? I had to click on it because I was just like, what? It's called 10-Inch Hero. Yeah. So what it's actually about is a sandwich shop.
Oh, that's funny.
And the quirky people and their relationships, in this, that all work there. And there's a very loose other Walking Dead tie-in. It's actually not really Walking Dead, but it's kind of our universe. In 10-Inch Hero, there was also another star, and his name was Sean Patrick Flannery.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, now I kind of want to see the movie. And it was the movie that Jensen met his wife on, the movie set. So that seemed like a pretty big movie for him, but it was only circulated in the film festivals that year, and it was released on Blockbuster Video. So I don't know where I'm going to get myself a copy of it, because I don't even have a VHS
Can't
player.
find it online anywhere.
No. Well, I haven't tried.
YouTube, maybe. Lots of times you can find stuff on YouTube.
That's very true. So the other thing that I found interesting about Jensen is he is a big country fan, and he has actually sang backup vocals for Steve Carlson's albums Spot in the Corner and Rollin' On.
I have never heard of that musician, and I've never heard of those albums.
Well, we're not country people.
No, not much. A little bit, tiny bit, but not much.
No. He has also released his own albums, and now I cannot find the name of them. Darn it. One was a Christmas album.
Oh my God.
I know that much. But so he is a singer and guitar player. I would have never expected that. He also made his stage debut in 2007 with director Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh, very cool.
We kind of know
plus,
him.
So we've got some crossover from Fear the Walking Dead. We've also got some crossover from Tom Paine's series, The Prodigal Son.
Right. So he played Lieutenant Caffey in A Few Good Men on stage. He has been nominated for 3 Daytime Emmys for his appearances on Days of Our Lives, and A Few Good Men got him very good critical reviews, so that was a huge success with him. But that was in 2007. It doesn't look like he's done any more stage stuff since then. I think he's been a little busy. If you look at his IMDb, he doesn't do a lot besides Supernatural. He does some video game voiceovers, but it just doesn't seem like he has the time to do anything but Supernatural and raise his 3 kids.
That seems fair.
Yeah, that would keep me busy. Oh, and he just celebrated his birthday on Friday. So happy birthday, Jensen Ackles.
And JDM just had a birthday. So they actually talked about it. They talked about it quite a bit in episode 3, which you will see.
Okay.
So, well, I thought we were going to talk about Hillary Burton because we've never talked about her. You know, I mean, we haven't really had any cause to, because there hasn't been an obvious crossover with Walking Dead aside from her marriage to Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But today we get to. So, she's pretty young. JDM's poaching a little bit. She was born in 1982. And I'm embarrassed to admit, I don't think I've ever watched anything that she's been in. But she's known for being in One Tree Hill. She also had a recurring role on Grey's Anatomy. And it sounds like the movies that she's been in have gotten her some recognition. I haven't seen them. One is called Our Very Own, one is called Solstice, and one is called The List. And she had a brief recurring role as a DEA agent on the series Lethal Weapon. She was the love interest of Martin Riggs, the main character.
Oh my goodness. I would have never pinpointed that. You know, I did start the latest season of it, the last season of it, with Sean William Scott, and yeah, it's just not resonating like the previous season. So it'll be a slog to get through.
I'm not watching anything right now. I'm not enmeshed in any series right now.
I binged a couple over the weekend.
I don't know. I'm trying to read. Trying to watch less news and listen to more music. Anyway, so, you know, Hilary Burton has done quite a bit. She's actually got 30 actor credits on IMDb, but it looks like her IMDb hasn't been updated in a while. She got together with JDM in 2009, so they've actually been together for quite a while. And their first child, their son, was born in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you know, and I think I was actually just seeing the I think it was just a little screen cap of the show. And have you noticed she's got a bunch of gray hair in the front of her hair?
So I actually read an article that said she's growing it out in solidarity with everybody who basically can't get to their hairdresser right now.
I love that. I put my gray streak in about a year ago now, and I absolutely love my gray streak, and I love to see that on when women do that, when mostly women, because I think it's mostly women who color out their grays. But yeah, I was going to mention that so I can't believe that she's actually younger than me. I guess I just assumed because of JDM's age that, you know,
right,
and the gray hair, that she was older than me, but
Well, I still don't have any gray hair. Especially not after yesterday, thank God.
No, you have purple hair.
I do. I have some purple hair. I would love to have I did some mermaid hair in the back. Like a little fringe of it in the back, but I would love to have all of our mermaid hair. I just can't get away with it doing what I do. I think probably no one would take me seriously. So,
hey, my therapist has purple hair. She's got a purple streak in her hair.
Excellent. Well, anything else you want to say about the Morgans?
Not really.
I think,
like I said, I would love to see more of the stuff from their farm.
Yes. And I think regardless of what we talk about the next time we gather, we'll have to talk about Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, you know, I really want to watch one of the movies. I have to go back and remember which movie it was. It came out right around the time that he started. We had him as a featured cast member on one of our first episodes, and he didn't have a huge role, but it seemed like kind of a pivotal role in the movie, and I cannot remember what it was right now. Maybe we'll podcast that if we ever podcast Night of the Comet.
We are going to have to do Night of the Comet. I will commit to Night of the Comet next time.
Oh, man. You are in for a treat.
Oh, I can only imagine. Well, anything for Housewives Corner before we wrap it up?
So I don't have anything for Housewives Corner, but I did want to mention that speaking of reading a lot, if you would like to binge the entire series of the Walking Dead comics, Humble Comics Bundle has partnered with Skybound Entertainment and Image Comics to offer the $484 worth of digital Walking Dead comics covering the entire run of Kirkman's graphic novel series for $18.
Wow. I'm assuming that's online.
Yes, it's
Would you
digital.
share that link on
Uh,
Biters?
I absolutely will. Yes. So if you are looking for something to do, there are 32 volumes of the Walking Dead comics you can read.
And they are well worth the read. I enjoyed
Yes.
them very, very much. I go
Yes.
back and read them periodically. But now I'm going to read James Rollins. In between reading about hormones and a vegan diet.
Oh,
I'm seriously,
good for
really
you.
trying to go vegan. That's probably my biggest thing from Housewives Corner today is that I just have been reading about natural cures for balancing hormones because I'm a woman of a certain age. And I had a patient who really inspired me this week. She's got some pretty difficult hormone issues. And it's just kind of, I'm getting the message from a lot of different areas of the universe. So I'm going to give it a whack. We're having
Well,
lentils tonight
and
for dinner, and I'm actually really excited because I love dal.
there is a, possible disruption to our food chain. So now would be a really good time to try and cut out some meat a few days a week
Well, I'm
at
going to get a
least.
little bit
I
political
know.
then. You open the door. So I'm pretty angry about the way that our essential workers who work in meat factories are being treated, and that's part of the reason I've made
Yes.
this decision also. So I'm not going to be a
So
Nazi about it.
I
I'm not going to point fingers at someone who chooses to eat meat. I'm not going to be one of those people. I just am trying to do this for myself, for my own heart, and for my health.
I feel exactly the same way. I'm not going vegan. I'm not even going vegetarian, but I have cut out a lot of meat from my diet recently because, like I said, on Friday I had an appointment with my primary care physician and my cholesterol numbers are not going down.
Ah.
So
So do I need to send you a
I
copy
have
of the
had to make
hormone
some.
cure and forks over knives? Apparently I do.
Maybe, but I went out and I bought a whole bunch of vegetables and I have pretty much just been eating vegetables like all weekend and I've made it okay. I've made it, like I'm not just having boring old salads. Like one of my things is I absolutely love wasabi and soy sauce almonds. So I take a few of those and I crush them up so that they're basically like breadcrumbs and sprinkle that on with the whatever balsamic or vinaigrette that I'm using. And it just gives a little kick. So, don't cry for me, Argentina.
Two other things
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to mention. So, in line with the whole trying to eat better, I discovered Cara Cara oranges. Cara Cara, Cara Cara. It's Cara. Have you tried them?
Okay, I can't even get blood
Oh,
oranges
yeah, that's
here
true.
for like a cool mimosa. Yeah, no.
You might be able to find them at
Mm-mm.
Fred's, and it literally is the best orange I've ever had in my life. In fact, I just finished the last of the ones that I had, and I'm like, okay, next time I have to go to the store.
That's
They're
funny.
amazing. And then I just wanted to give a.
Yes,
Oh, go ahead.
I would love to try that, but like I said, I can't even get blood oranges, which are super common.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't think blood oranges are that common. I'm not sure that I could find them at my local grocery store, and we have bigger grocery stores and more than you do.
Yeah. Everything has to be barged here, so they are very limited on what they try and sell because there's not a huge market for things like blood oranges.
Can you order them in?
So what was the other thing? Oh, I might be able to.
The other thing is, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Sean Freeman from the Zombie Cast. So he
Yes.
actually had a COVID infection and was one
He
of the people
did.
who had, pretty significant upper respiratory symptoms, but not so much that he needed to be in the hospital. And he's recovered and he's doing okay, but he had a COVID antibody test that came back positive. So,
And I remember seeing his post when he came back from Disneyland about how sick he was. And, since COVID hit, he's all along, he's been like, I think I had
yeah.
it. And he was totally right. He had it.
So, Sean, we're glad you're okay. We're glad you didn't end up in the
Yes,
hospital and on a vent because that would have been ugly.
yes. And now you have somewhat of a free pass to do whatever you
No,
wanted about.
no, we actually don't know that. And
No,
World
we
Health
don't.
Organization is saying do not assume if you are antibody positive that you have immunity. We don't have enough information
Right.
to back that up yet.
Yeah. And I mean, this could be like any other virus that's out there. They do mutate all the
Right.
time.
Another quick thing before we go, Diana and Steve, I'm glad you guys are enjoying your masks. That makes me happy. I have to finish some for the other housewife because I'm gonna hopefully meet up. We're going to do a socially distanced birthday celebration for her tomorrow. We're probably gonna sit in our cars in the coffee at a coffee hut
Oh, my
and like
goodness.
wave at each other from our cars.
And talk on the phone to each other from
Right.
your car.
I actually, so you know that she's obsessed with those little gnomes. So
Uh-huh.
I needle felted some gnomes for her, and I'll post a picture after I've given them to her. They turned out pretty cute.
If only I had your talent. I really should have learned to sew.
It's not too late.
It's not. Well, I mean, I kind of would have to take distance courses at this
Well, it's
point.
not too late in the scope of your life. It might not be the
No,
ideal time right now.
no. Right. Right. You know, I was going to say the way that I have my office set up, I think I'm going to change it and have it's our spare bedroom. I'm going to have the TV that's in the spare bedroom kind of as a third screen over my two work screens. And I kind of am thinking about just running tutorials about stuff on the TV, as I'm
Oh,
working.
that's a good
So,
idea.
maybe I can learn more about SharePoint or Excel or American Sign Language or sewing or Spanish, whatever. I can multitask.
Well, I was cooking and taking notes for tonight's podcast, so I totally understand it.
Oh, so yes, I absolutely will watch the third episode, and who knows how many more episodes of Friday Nights In with the Morgan there are gonna be, but I think I will be a regular viewer. It's not like I will be sitting down on Friday nights watching it live or anything, but it's only 30 minutes. You got 30
They
minutes.
had said 4. They had confirmed for 4, so it'll be interesting to see if it goes further.
Hmm. Like I said, I would love to see more of the farm.
I
That's
agree.
that's my one thing is like two things. You need to be a little more inclusive with your civilian cat person, and I want to see more of the farm. Those little donkeys were so adorable. And then if you're listening to this and you haven't watched, Jack and Diane are a donkey and an ostrich that are in love with each
Emu.
other. Oh, yeah, emu. Yes.
And all of the episodes of Friday Night In are also available to watch free on AMC's website.
Ah,
So you can totally watch the Morgans and you can totally watch the new one with Coleman Domingo.
I think I will probably do
I
that
think I'm
tonight.
probably going to do that tonight also. But for now, the lentils are calling.
Yep. So we did good. We kept it under an hour
Oh my
this
god.
episode.
And here I
So,
said that I thought we would do 15, 20 minutes, and I'm so sorry, everybody. We've been yammering at you for almost an hour. But we've missed you.
yes. Yes. It's been
It's
weird.
totally been weird. Having no Walking Dead has been weird.
Having no Walking Dead. We got the news on Tuesday or Wednesday that even though the state is opening back up for some businesses, that anyone who can work remotely is still encouraged to do so. They will not prevent anybody from going into the office if they feel that's where they need to be, but they encourage us, if it's working for us, to continue to work from home, and they will reevaluate in a month or two.
Wow.
So I am in it for the long
Yep.
haul.
All right.
But yeah, so Next time, Night of the Creeps.
Very good. And tell people where they can watch that if they want to watch it before they listen.
Oh, you had to corner me. Oh, Amazon.
Yeah, you have to rent it on Amazon.
Yep. I think it's $3.99. Yeah.
All right.
So,
well,
looking forward to that.
I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm certainly going to watch it.
I'm looking forward to podcasting about it. I've seen it.
So funny.
Oh God! But until then, everyone, stay healthy. Keep sanity. But just remember,
take it one dead day at a time.
Have a good week,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye.